I'm going to speak to the graduates from the book of Samuel, 1 Samuel, chapter 17, verses 33 through 51. And just kind of peek your head up at me when you're there. One Samuel 17, 33 through 51. And the word reads as such. Saul replied, "You are not able to go out against this Philistine and fight him. You are only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth." But David said unto Saul, "Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from his mouth. And when it turned on me, I seized it by its hair, struck it, and killed it. Your servant has killed both the lion and the bear. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, because he has defied the armies of the living God. The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hands of this Philistine." Saul said unto David, "Go, and the Lord be with you." Then Saul dressed David in his own tunic. He put a coat of armor on him and a bronze helmet on his head. David fastened on the sword over the tunic and tried to walk around because he was not used to them. "I cannot go in these," he said to Saul, "because I am not used to them." So he took them off. Then he took his staff in his hand, chose 5 smooth stones from the stream, put them in the pouch of the shepherd's bag, and with his sling in hand, he approached the Philistine. Meanwhile, the Philistine, with his shield bearer in front of him, kept coming closer to David. He looked David over and saw that he was a little more than a boy, born with health and handsome, and he despised him. He said to David, "Am I a dog that you come against me with a stick?" And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. "Come here," he said, "and I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals." But David said unto the Philistine, "You come against me with a sword and a spear and a javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and I'll strike you down and cut off your head. This very day I will give the carcasses of the Philistines' armies to the birds and the wild animals, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. All those gathered here will know that it is not by the sword or the spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands." And so as the Philistine moved closer to attack him, David ran quickly toward the battle line to meet him. Reaching into his bag and taking out a stone, he slung it and struck the Philistine on the forehead. The stone sank into the forehead, and he fell face down on the ground. So David triumphed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone. Without a sword in his hand, he struck down that Philistine and he killed him. David ran and stood over him. He took hold of the Philistine's sword, and he drew it from the sheath. After he had killed him, he cut off his head with the sword. What am I talking about today? Life is one Goliath of a challenge.
Jesus.
But you are prepared. Once again, life is one Goliath of a problem, of a challenge. But you are prepared. In the scripture, David was the youngest of Jesse's 8 sons. And from what we can tell, he was the most consistent, the most dedicated, the most determined about his father's business of tending to the sheep. He had fought many battles with the beasts that came against what was his primary responsibility as the shepherd of the flock. The life of his father's flock was placed in David's hands. With a sling and some smooth stones, a rod and his staff, David would go on to master the foundation of what would become the cornerstone to his rise in greatness. You see, to our graduating class, to many of us here today, God spoke purpose into our existence long before we ever took our first breath. And while the distractors of becoming the head of the household or inheriting the riches plagued the thoughts of those older brothers, David was about his business of service to his father to the best of his ability. In contrast, many of you have been in service seemingly to your parents, making the best possible choices and the best possible grades that you could make. You have, to this point, placed yourself in a David-like situation. With grace and a certain willingness to submit to the call of preparation, to the demands of our parents, we execute the task of preparing ourselves for those English, math, science, history, economics exams so that we could one day walk the proud walk across the stage, which symbolizes that our foundation is solid, complete, and that we are ready to walk out and face this Philistine Goliath of a giant called life. Amen. Today, I would like to congratulate our graduating class on such a milestone accomplishment, not to be taken for granted. 12 years of education, and in some cases, collegiate graduates appear, mostly day in and day out, through various frustrations, sometimes boredom, sickness, and inclement weathers. With distractions all around you, you have managed to persevere through peer pressure. Thus far, you have managed to use your slingshots to stave off the pressures of various drugs, teenage pregnancy, sexually transmitted diseases, crime, violent crimes, and incarcerations. And for that, church, I think we owe them a huge round of applause. You all have so much opportunity in front of you. And the question remains, are you confident enough in your skill sets to walk up to this Goliath of a life and face its challenges head on? Are you confident enough to tell this giant, you come against me with a sword and a spear and a javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the army of Israel, whom you have defied? Are you willing to demonstrate the integrity forged into you by your parents behind those closed doors when you are out in the world? Without a doubt, we know that you will stand for the right things, make it impossible for you to fall for anything. Are you ready? David, as small and as unprepared as he looked, with a certain confidence, he stood looking his challenger right in the face. And he even stated to King Saul that he would be the one to take down this Philistine who defied the living God of Israel. So King Saul tried to arm David in the king's armor. Now, imagine that for 1 second. Many of us, we get an opportunity to dress in the king's garments, we would take that opportunity in a heartbeat. Can you imagine what that must have looked like? All the jewels and the pearls and the fine metals. Yeah, but David respectfully declined. And here's why. He was most comfortable and quite confident in his abilities with the simple foundation he had spent his whole life staving off the competition with. And so with his head up high and some supreme confidence exuded from his body, David closed the distance on his challenger. And step by step, he quickened that distance. He reached down to pick up 5 stones. And David loaded his sling. And that sling ascended him into his destiny. This giant, for many of us who don't know, was 9 feet 9 inches tall. He would make Shaquille O'Neal look like a little boy. But David, nonetheless, walked into his purpose, his destiny by God, and Israel became victorious. See, I believe that God gave me this text because you too can walk into your destiny, your purpose. And never forget that it starts with the one and only living God. We say that he is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. El Shaddai, Elohim, who extends his grace to purpose and allows us to become those doctors and lawyers, engineers and architects, and everything that is given to the promise. Graduates, your greatness lies ahead of you.